I never thought betrayal would come from inside my own bloodline, but life has a cruel way of teaching us lessons we never wanted to learn. And if you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, then you'll understand the pain that hit me the night I returned home early from a business trip. It was a Thursday night, past midnight, and I had just landed back from Chicago. The house was dark when I pulled up, but something felt off. My wife's luxury car, the Porsche I had worked my bones off to buy her, wasn't parked in our driveway. My stomach tightened. I told myself maybe she was with a friend, maybe she had gone to check on her mother, but deep down something didn't sit right. Against my better judgment, I drove past my brother's neighborhood, and that's when the world around me shattered. There was her car parked neatly in his garage, as if it belonged there. My heart thumped so loud, I could hear it in my ears. I stepped out quietly and walked to the side window. Inside, I saw them, my wife Jessica and my own brother Ryan, sitting too close, glasses of wine in their hands, laughing, whispering, her hand brushing his, her lower back exposed as she leaned forward, and then like a knife sliced into my chest, I heard her voice say, "I should go home now before your beloved brother starts wondering where I am. I need to cook for him tomorrow." They both laughed at that, laughed at me, as if I were a fool who didn't matter. Tell me, if you were in my place, would you have stormed in and ended it right there? Or would you have stayed silent, letting betrayal carve into your heart, so you could plan something far more devastating? That night, I chose silence, but in that silence, I made a promise. This wouldn't end with me as a victim. The next few weeks were hell. At home, Jessica acted normal, like nothing had happened. She kissed me goodbye in the mornings, cooked dinner, asked about my day, and at night, she slept next to me as if she weren't sneaking into my brother's bed behind my back. Ryan, too, was smug in his usual way, always cracking jokes, pretending to be the supportive younger brother. What neither of them knew was that every time they played me for a fool, my resolve grew stronger. You see, I wasn't about to lose everything I had built. Not to betrayal, not to blood, and certainly not to a woman who had forgotten her vows. I began digging, slowly and quietly. At first, I checked my financial accounts, and what I discovered made my stomach churn. Unauthorized withdrawals, suspicious transfers, business documents I had never signed but somehow bore my signature. Ryan had been using my trust, my name, to bleed money out of my business accounts, moving funds into side companies under his control. And Jessica, she was a puppet master beside him, laughing in my bed at night while planning my downfall by day. Have you ever felt the weight of betrayal so heavy that you couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't look at the faces around you without wondering who else was laughing behind your back? That was me. But instead of breaking, I hardened. I started collecting evidence. Small things at first. Phone records, late-night messages she tried to delete, GPS locations from her car, hidden receipts. I bought 2 hidden cameras. One I planted in my living room and one in my office. I recorded her sneaking out when she thought I was working late. Recorded her coming back hours later with that fake innocent smile. I hired a private investigator to follow Ryan, and what he uncovered made my blood boil even more. They weren't just cheating. They were plotting to push me out of my own company, using the forged documents and financial manipulations Ryan had set up. And Jessica, my wife of 10 years, the woman I thought I'd grow old with, was helping him every step of the way. I could have confronted them then, but I wanted more than confrontation. I wanted destruction. I wanted them to feel what it was like to lose everything while standing helpless. But let me ask you, what would you have done at this point? Explode and reveal everything, or keep smiling while you set the stage for their fall? I chose the stage. I smiled at Jessica, told her she looked beautiful, pretended to appreciate the dinner she cooked, even started talking about renewing our vows. To Ryan, I acted like the proud big brother, discussing investments and even offering to let him in on a new business project. All the while, I was building a legal fortress around me. I met with lawyers discreetly, handed them every piece of evidence, every forged signature, every bank statement, every recording. I filed for divorce quietly, but sealed, making sure Jessica didn't know until the exact right moment. I transferred ownership of my properties into trusts she couldn't touch. I froze accounts under my sole name and prepared lawsuits that would not only take Ryan down, but expose his fraud to the world. It was a chess game, and every day I acted as if nothing was wrong. I was moving a piece closer to checkmate. The breaking point came one night when Jessica and Ryan thought they were clever enough to discuss their next move at Ryan's house. They didn't know my PI had bugged the place. I sat in my car and listened to their conversation in real time. Jessica laughed and said, "Soon he'll be out of the company and we'll have everything. He's too blind to see it coming." Ryan added, "He's always been the weak one, trusting too much. We deserve this." Weak. That word stuck with me. That night, I stopped being the victim. The day of reckoning arrived at a family dinner I had organized. Everyone was there, my parents, close relatives, friends. Ryan and Jessica arrived hand in hand, smug, believing they were a step away from winning. But as dinner was served, I stood, raised a glass, and said, "Tonight is about truth." Then I pressed a button, and on the big screen in the living room, the recordings began to play. Jessica sneaking into Ryan's house, their mocking conversations, Ryan forging my signatures, Jessica laughing about how blind I was. The room fell silent. My mother gasped. My father shook his head in disbelief. Relatives stared in shock. Ryan's face went pale. Jessica dropped her glass, and for the first time, they looked powerless. But that was just the beginning. Within days, the lawsuits hit. Fraud charges, embezzlement, adultery evidence filed in divorce court. Ryan's assets were frozen, his accounts investigated. His reputation in the business world shattered overnight. Jessica was served divorce papers and found herself locked out of every account, every property she thought she could claim. She tried crying, begging, even threatening, but it was useless. The law was on my side, and I had played every move perfectly. By the end of it, Ryan lost his house, his cars, his stake in the company. Jessica lost her luxury life, the Porsche, the mansion, everything. They were left with nothing but each other, a pair of traitors bound by shared misery. And me? I walked away with my head high, my business intact, and my dignity restored. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about justice, about showing them that betrayal doesn't go unpunished, not when you plan your moves with patience and precision. So let me ask you, if you were betrayed by both blood and love, would you have done what I did, or would you have chosen forgiveness? Do you believe they deserved to lose everything, or was my revenge too much? I want to know your thoughts, because maybe your advice will help someone else walking through the same fire I once did.